we
We
go.
almost have 100 subscribers.
That's
Holy
fantastic.
shit.
And welcome once again to Nerf Check, where apparently we're pushing 100 subscribers. So most people would tell you to like, subscribe, whatever, do whatever the hell you would like to. Hello once again, and welcome to Nerf Check. I am here once again with the boys are all back again. I am here with the looks and the brains ish. How you doing, John and Ray? And what you two been up to? Anything good?
No, I'm ready to do a fucking show.
Let's do the
Perfect.
show.
All right. So first thing we have to do is we are all going to Dead of Winter. Dead of Winter and Mr. Rossi have asked us to put out that we will not be playing with the errata this time around for this weekend. It's too close to the weekend and it will not be used. That being said, we're about to talk about the errata itself after we talk about one other little caveat. The gauntlet itself that we normally give out for the Northeast, if it is played for by people on the outside of the Northeast, and they will not be able to make it to March of Death, where it should be defended because it's our bloody, or I should say, Ray's bloody gauntlet. We will take it home with us and defend it in your honor.
You're complicating things, Ben.
Yeah.
So
One way or another, it's coming home with us.
So after discussion, not that we would ever copy the Mid-Atlantic, but much like how the Mid-Atlantic has pilgrimage, where teams from outside of the region can compete for the Cornwall Cup, but not take it away. Teams from outside of the Northeast can compete for the gauntlet at Dead of Winter, but they cannot take it away. So if the Mid-Atlantic wants to come up and win it, good luck. I think we have a quarter of the field in the Murder Garage Mafia, and we'll see if your best three can beat our best three. But other than that, you can win it this weekend because we are copying you just like we've copied you with all of this. So, so that's the public
boldly and with no shame.
Yep. No,
absolutely
no shame. Totally a new thing. Okay, so that being said, there's been an errata, which we are not using on the weekend, thank God. But we kind of need to go over this because some things have happened and some things need to be talked about. So let's just jump right into it. The first thing we really don't need to talk about at all is Steve Hilger has been added to one of the developers on some of these rules. Fantastic guy. If you don't see it, if you haven't visited his channels, which is Death by Dragons, you really should. He does a lot for the community over in the UK. Man, really, I've been watching him for years. On to there, let's go to page 11. Amends Hellfire's command command orders, description. The units now, what is it?
So the first change was page 15, front arc. Whereby it got deleted. The next big thing, though, is multiple charges. Sorry, if you're engaged and the unit is charged or countercharged this turn, they're able to strike in combats, which means that even if you're engaged in the flank and you're not able to turn your unit and you are charged or countercharged, you're able to strike back. I think this wording is not quite yet fully clear because it says engaged units that are charged or countercharged this turn are eligible to strike in combats. I wish they would have left it as simply engaged units can melee any engaged unit, because what happens is there's the possibility that you have your horde, you're hitting the flank by a regiment, you hit them back because you can't turn due to impassable terrain or some other reason. You waver them, they can't back up. You could still be engaged, but because they didn't charge you or countercharge you, the following turn you can't do anything to them. So I wish they would have left it as page 18 engaged and leave it simply that any unit can countercharge any unit that they're engaged with.
So it might be that I'm illiterate, but I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't read that one at all.
Ray. And we're back. Okay, so we do not edit anything, and that needed to be put in regardless because a lot of people make that mistake. However, The fireball special rule until the end of turn may not now be used on hero types. I think
Okay,
this.
whoa. We're at the Hellfire's command. So
Yes.
the Hellfire's special command,
That's
which
right.
is only for some people. Not
That's
for
right. Which is only
Can't be
for,
used on
I
heroes.
believe, it's abyssals, isn't it?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
it can't be used on heroes. So they can't. The fireball and the lightning bolt can no longer be put on heroes, in addition to the drain life. And at Nerdhammer, this impacted me where I had Morgoth do the drain life, and then he used the additional ability from Undead to do a double drain life from the same hero.
That
What
sounds
this is
sketchy.
really about from the Abyss is like you can't have an Efreet come in to Fireball 16, or what would it be if you gave the Efreet the additional Fireball, like
21.
Fireball
24 or
21,
something? Yeah.
Yeah.
and then do an additional Fireball 8 on top of that with the order. That's what this
You
is
should be able
about.
to shoot twice anyway. I mean, like, come on. But,
That's funny.
But it really impacts Morgoth is probably the biggest one with double drain life.
yeah. But you shouldn't be able to shoot twice. It should not happen.
The page 13 Abyssal Berserker Skinner was just a misprint.
Yeah, that one's fine. Same with the Nagari. They were a misprint. They've been amended to melee 3, which is better.
No, that was not a misprint. That was a spicy change.
Oh, well, then they just got a lot better.
And the question is, how much better did they get? I used them at melee 4. I have not used them, and they were so because they're 12 attacks, melee 4.
Yeah, they're
crush
still only
1.
12, so.
I wish they would have been melee 4, but crush 1, thunders 1, or crush 2, because the models look like
they're
huge.
big. They are big boys, yeah.
So, keep them hitting on 4, so it's kind of iffy, but like have them be proper, like beefy boys.
I'll be honest, I would have preferred them staying hitting on 4s. I think there isn't enough things that hit on 4s. I think hitting on 3 should be kind of an elite thing, but
and I agree with you. Like I would say hit on 4s, but like crush 2 or crush 1, thunders 1, because they're huge.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. All right.
Neither of you get what you want.
No.
All right. Archfiend of the Abyss add Fireball 10 ranged attack to include the following option: gains regeneration 5+ for 25 points. That is really bloody good.
Yep.
That there's nothing else to say about that. 25 points for 5+ regen, which can go to 4+ if the Nagari goes away. That's actually maybe undercosted by about 5 points, but that's just my opinion.
But the Archfiend's not like an optimal build right now. Like,
no.
So
he's expensive.
He is expensive.
Yeah, he's expensive for what he does.
Yeah.
Even with this, you're adding another 25 points on top of him. He's an expensive choice. He could be used really well, but you're investing in him.
Right. All right. We've got the Abyssal Warlock amended to speed 7, melee 4, defense
Speed 6, bud. Speed 6.
Oh, sorry, speed 6. Oh, I'm wearing my glasses. You would think they would help. These are lensless. That's what the problem.
They're just fake frames. Yeah. Hi, Bear.
Oh, Bear's gone.
Yeah, Bear's out of here. She's like, I've done my cameo. I gotta go.
Unit strength 1 and 5 attacks. So 5 attacks. Well, okay.
That was a misprint.
Yeah,
it was just a misprint in the book. It hadn't like that in the companion. Same with Matsubu was a misprint.
Right.
Lord of Lies is interesting.
It's pretty good for him.
The option, because you're already investing 325 points. Like, what's another 25 points to make him more points instead?
Once you pass that 300-point threshold, I mean, doesn't
might
really
as well
matter.
Just go deep. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to go as deep as you can on those things. River Guard.
I haven't seen him in a list yet. The Lord of Lies.
Because he's a shitload of points.
Yeah.
He has a shitload of points. So maybe at Orktown somebody takes him, but I don't know.
You know what? You should take him to the next tournament you play in, which won't be March of Death. So
absolutely, some tournament in Ontario where if I have to play at March of Death as my ringer list, like put the Lord of Lies in.
yes, and just bring it to a 1-day and just like see if you can curb stomp people with them.
Fair enough.
Excellent. Okay. Riverguard is only a change for the ambush game mode, so I don't think we care about that today. And this is the spicy one, the next one here.
Ooh.
So page 47, add the following under Arcane Library changes. Celestial Restoration. Add the following text. Dice rolled to hit with Celestial Restoration may not be re-rolled by any means. Suck it.
Well, it's about time that that change should have been made. It shouldn't have been added anyway.
Yep. Totally cool with that change.
I think the question is, can you still use the command dice to add +1 to the spell?
It doesn't say you can't, so I would assume that you can.
So I think channel power, which is 3 points, will be used, but dwarfs have so many things that they want to use command dice for, like the reroll to hit, the vengeance.
Well, we'll talk about that later on.
Okay, yes, but this is one of the ones to remember for later on because
So the other big change on page 47, which will affect what you're talking about, is you now only start. So the command dice pool changes. So instead of starting with a red, a white, and a blue, you now start with 3 reds, which is significantly shittier.
Yeah, and I still like, because command dice, if you're going to shoehorn something in, you shouldn't have done, well, here's everything to try because it comes in the box. No, I get it. I really do, because the box comes with 1 of each, or like 1, 2, and 2. I'm not entirely sure on the I've bought enough of these for the.
I have all my Vanguard dice. Oh, I have all my Vanguard dice. I have enough red dice now. I forgot. Yeah.
I have a shit ton of firefight dice because I like the firefight dice, and they're different colors. Still don't get it.
You can't use those. Those are for firefight. Then come on. So that's a big change. So for anyone playing with command dice later, not for this tournament, Rossi's not using the errata, so we're fine for this tournament. Right, but in the future, your command dice pool will be significantly shittier to start with.
Right, which means you have to spend points now to actually use the other dice themselves, or to buy the dice to be able to actually use them, which means a lot of the commands are almost unusable.
Well, now you have to buy dice to be able to use them with reliable, like to use them reliably, you'll have to actually bring more command dice, which leads us to the next command dice orders that a bunch of them are changing too.
That's right. Like accuracy.
So this one's a good one. Go through it, Ben.
Oh, me. Yes. When you roll the hit for melee or range, excluding spells, you may reroll 1 to fail the hit. This was being used with spells because spells were considered to be a ranged attack at most times. I think this is fantastic. I actually don't like it for my list that's coming this week, thank God. But with the command being able to spend 3 to add 1 dice to roll, I think this makes a lot of sense. Like, it never really made any sense that you can do it for any magic attack, like Celestial Restoration, which was just basically making, giving yourself a what the hell is this? I can't remember what the hell the staff is called that allows you to re-roll the magic dice. Why can't I remember this? Thank you. Staff. Wow, what is wrong with me? Okay, so it's basically doing the one thing that they had just done. They took away the Conjurer staff and then just gave it back. Yeah. There was no point in taking it away if we were just going to give it back.
Right. In my army for this upcoming weekend, I debated putting in the Conjurer staff to get assurance that the Bane Chant was going to work. But then it's like, I don't need to worry about it. I have command dice. I can at least get 1 point. Like that's a cheap Conjurer staff that can be used anywhere you want.
Yep.
With this change needing 3 dice, that's your 3 reds.
This is 3 dice that have blanks on it. Whereas when you have 1 of each, you were guaranteed at the very minimum 1, because the blue dice starts
Always
with
have
1, goes to 2, and then has 3.
Yeah.
So this way, you're not even guaranteed to have 1.
You might have no command points to use some turns now if you only bring the 3 reds.
Yep.
But Diabolical Fervor is the next one to get a change, and I think that affects the Abyssal guys.
Yes.
So Ray, how would this affect you?
Well, that changes. That looks like they changed it from.
The game's elite
it's
now.
now infantry or heavy infantry unit only. So
instead
no
of
more big boys.
Yeah.
But we didn't have Diabolical Fervor. Like, we didn't have the option for elite before. So I'm kind of wondering.
Which one is that at the moment? Diabolical Fervor is Abyssal Dwarves. That's why.
Oh, that's why. I thought it was regular Abyssals.
So this used to be infantry and heavy infantry. Gangs elite for this turn.
Oh, I think they're just clarifying this turn and to.
Yeah. Oh, to the end of the turn. Okay, so that's minor. So this is the big one that will also affect dwarves, the next one down. So amend the Rock and Stone command orders to troops and regiments with the dwarf keyword only.
Yeah,
Unit gains vengeance, unique special rule vengeance. While countercharging, you get the extra +1 crushing until the end of the turn. No more hordes.
Thank God.
So you can't slap it on hordes of shield breakers anymore and get them to crushing 3.
Look, dwarves are overpowered to begin with.
They are quite silly.
They really are. I mean, the only units in the game that get to shoot without any penalty whatsoever. The only units everything can be Def 6. Everything can now have some sort of like heal or regeneration or something. So it's nice to tear them back a little bit. I'm not a big fan of the whole vengeance thing. I think that it was great to go on a unit or 2. I kind of understood it for that.
Giving it to the Slayers made sense, but then letting everybody get it was
it's a bit much.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And anybody that says, well, they don't, like, obviously they need help killing things. No, they don't. Like, they really bloody don't.
Many empty tables would disagree with that.
All right, let's keep going down. Magical resistance. Sorry, what was that, Ray?
Next, we have magical resistance can be used twice per player turn. The unit gains spell word until the start of the following turn. Again, this is a clarification of the turn length. Just to state, because that was one of the things brought up by Nathan in one of our previous podcasts, where the length that the spells and effects from the command dice were in play wasn't fully clarified. So it's nice to see that everything's being done.
Yeah, but also, let me double check here while I look this up, because I thought the only one that could be used twice was the Trident Realms.
No, the spell word is consistently, because it's not a super powerful. Like, even if you use it, it's one of the ones where you use spell word, big deal. Like, I'm just going to use magic on something that doesn't have.
Yeah, I'll just target something else. Yeah.
All right.
So number 58, they identify that Madrid the elf and Nymun Weight Answer can purchase command dice.
Yep. And cool. That was just an oversight again, I believe.
And I think the River Guard affecting you, Ben, is just that the unit's height 3, but it gets modified by terrain. So if you're on a hill, you become height 6.
Yeah, well, I always played it.
I think they just cleaned that up for wording purposes, because that's how most people played it, I believe.
But now we get the Empire of Dust with some spiciness.
Ooh.
Yeah, they touched them. So the enslaved guardians can no longer take the casket of the damned, and neither can the enslaved guardian archers.
I like the fact that the archers cannot. I guess the guardians in general, it kind of made sense. These are basically rocks and stones that are being brought to life, and not just. Well, that's the way I perceive them. I don't perceive them as mummies or skeletons or that sort of thing where they're being moved by the necromancer themselves. So,
and I like the idea that it differentiates them from mummies, which can be scouted. So I like this change.
Yep.
It does make you have to choose between the two. Of course, if you're taking those Guardian Archers, do you really even need them to move? I believe they're 36-inch range. Like, come on.
30. It's only 30.
Is it? Oh, it's only
Nobody's
only
36
30.
anymore. It's only 30, Ben. It's fine.
30.
They can
All
shoot
right.
across the table immediately. It's fine. Yes.
So continuing the hammering of Empire of Dust, which
Because they obviously needed it.
Skeleton Archer Cavalry become irregular.
I feel like that was an oversight because I think they were a regular last edition when I played them. So
Yes.
I think that was just a cleanup.
And then the Monolith gets at the start of the friendly ranged phase, in which the unit has not been issued an at double order. So it clarifies when you have to use the Monolith Surge 8.
And I think that was the same last edition, and I think they just missed putting at the start of the phase this time.
Yeah. And it's just a cleanup. So
yeah,
props to them. Good change.
Perfect.
Silent Feet.
I don't even know who gets that.
So Silent Feet is something that you can get for the hobbits or the goblins, and I believe it gives them stealth. It does.
But
so it's
not on the Titans. Not on the Titans anymore. So no more on the Iron Beast.
That's right, because you
That's a good
could,
change.
and that was kind of, and
That's
I believe
a good change. Yeah, yeah, that's a good
I
change.
believe Justin brought that up in our thing, and I'm like, wait, what? Like giants and shit, but that should not happen. It really should not. Again, it states that it's going to go to the following turn. Magic resistance again to the following turn. These are things that should have happened. Like, I believe when just proofread your book.
Well, to be honest, people who are like, oh, I can now make my unit stealthy for the rest of the game for 3 command points. Come on, man. Like, that's obviously not the intention.
Well, the other thing was the fact that it would say until the end of this turn. So if you were player 2, it finished at the end of that.
Then it's because of people like you that they had to come up with this errata.
Yeah.
That's the way it was written.
Yeah.
So it's going to get even worse.
It's a you thing. So the next one's just magical resistance again. We already talked about that. And then we got show of strength. They've now clarified it's to melee only.
Yep.
Well, that's when you use the ability. Early payment is used in movement. Yeah. Like all of this is just cleanup.
Which should have been done.
The number 74 with the rift charge is what we talked about
earlier with the same sort of thing where you can't put it on a hero. So
that's an excellent freeze frame for Ray.
It kind of is.
Look at that. That was an awesome freeze frame. That was money. That should be the thumbnail.
It really should. It really should. If we were professional in any way, shape, or form. You and your country fucking internet. Jesus Christ, man. So yeah, it's now just we can't do it on heroes, which is fun. I think this shit should have been done just for units anyway. Much like, and I don't think they did this, but much like how being able to put the frozen aura should not be used, Mr. LaHaye, on any sort of individual or anything like that. I think it's the same sort of.
It doesn't say you can't.
I know it doesn't on this one.
Which means he still can.
I know.
Indefinitely.
Well, he's doing it this weekend anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So should we discuss the page 82? Because that's the majority of changes to the command dice.
In case we haven't said this out loud, and if you've listened to this far, God love you. But this is all under the erratas form on the compendium. If you go to rules at the very top of the page, it will say view errata. You go to the very bottom where it says under 2025. This is all going to be in there. Again, thank you for listening this far. We're going to keep on going, but
I think before we go into the scenario, overall thoughts on the errata.
I like it.
I'm down with all of it. None of it is like game breaking. A lot of it cleans up some stuff that's currently feels broken or negative play experience. So I think this was overall a good sweep.
Yeah.
I think the big change is the change to 3 red dice.
Yes.
Like you said, there are 2 blanks on a red. 2
Yeah.
blanks, 3 1s, and a 2. So there is a 1 in 27 chance. 1 in 27 chance that you will roll blanks on your dice.
I'm happy with this change, and this is coming from someone who used command dice to win our last one-day tournament because I was able to just undo problems because I brought the 3 starter dice and I brought 2 extra of the medium white dice on 2 of my generals, and I was rolling on average 5 command points a turn, which is enough to unwaver a unit and just get them out of your way. So my body blocking militia just 8 shots from people, got wavered, unwavered them, got them out of the way. In one game, I did it 2 turns in a row and then was able to deliver my knights because there was no negative consequences. Yeah. So being less reliable with command dice, I think will actually make command dice a more usable feature.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like the change to accuracy.
Yeah.
And I like the change to Celestial Restoration so that you don't give it to a dwarf in the back with Conjurer's Staff right now.
Well, and they also capped it so you can't use it for any blast at all to reroll. Yep. So that's a great change too, because you didn't see them as often, but Aeronauts coming in with their blast dice could get spicy too, or the little Goblin hero with his blast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So not being able to do that is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, this almost makes some. I wasn't a big fan of these. I don't know if I am or not. I will try it still with what's going on here. I know it's going to get tweaked again. Maybe they were on the high side when they first came out, and now they've been kind of slapped in the ass at this point. We'll see. We'll see. I want to play a few games with this before it comes up. So
now we come up to the scenario changes, which is for loot tokens. A unit can score up to its strength in loot tokens.
Okay.
Unit strength.
Yes. The problem is, and they've done this again, and thanks to Nathan for pointing this out to me. I read this as being all loot tokens. However, on the page, it is referenced as, it says on page 82, it is only 2 scenarios. However, it has been clarified by Matt Carmack, apparently, on the Facebook group that it is all loot scenarios. So if you use loot counters in any way, it now has this on it. So that apparently
wait a minute.
That's what it's saying on the Facebook page. So they have yet again made it even more difficult. Yes. No, I'm not kidding, mate.
That gets a lot crazier and dumber.
Yeah, it does.
What's the loot one push when you carry the loot tokens over half, which was the problem child of this currently? Right. So now if you can only score up to its unit strength in loot tokens, if you have them on a unit strength 1 hero, monster, Wiltfather, and you run it over the board, can it score 1 token? Or can it score 1 point?
1 point.
Token. No.
It doesn't say. It says may score up to its unit strength and loot tokens. But when you cross center, it's worth 2. So do you get 1 point or do you get 2 points if you're across half?
That's why this, and again, this is the way things have been kind of all screwed up, because if you go to that scenario page and it says there are only these 2 scenarios, but again, on the clarification page on Facebook, it has been said something completely different. So in doing all this good, they have still left it a little bit bad. So I'm hoping that this will be yet again clarified correctly. But the way I read it was all loot scenarios.
Well, the good news is they can actually just fix it quickly because all of these erratas are already live on the website. So
that's right.
As soon as they post it, it's good to go. So maybe they'll do a quick cleanup on that.
Hopefully, because it is actually being discussed on Facebook and has been since this came out. Like there's a long thing on it.
How does that work on 82? Sorry, for push, because that is the question one. A unit may score up to its unit strength in loot tokens.
Okay.
So it's exactly what John said. If I have my unit strength 1 ogre bully, and I cross the board, do I get 2 points or 1 point? I would read this as you get 1 because you get up to your unit. You may score up to its unit strength.
Yeah.
In loot tokens.
I read that as you get 1 point no matter what because you're a unit strength 1.
That's the way I read it.
This is that. That's
is a big problem. So
it says loot token scenarios on page 82, and there are two. It's stockpile, and what's the other one here? Seek and destroy. So it's not meant, as far as I've been, as far as I've been told, it is not meant to just do those two. It is meant to do all loot tokens.
But the question is, Ben, like all the other tokens are only 1 point, not an issue. Right. But for push, like
it can be worth 2.
Key question, because then John can't like say, here, my little child wizard who hasn't learned anything.
Exactly.
You're still
it's a specific problem for me. I was trying to hedge around that by using other examples, but specifically, I have a lot of unit strength 1 guys that got to do a lot of work. Because so now if they can only score 1 point, that's not great.
Nathan specifically said John's going to hate this, and I said you're probably right. So I don't know. I think it should score the way that you're saying, John. If you have 3, but again, I don't know because they.
But that also makes it weird because then if you have unit strength 3 unit that carries 2 across, do they only score 3 points or do they score 4 points? Like it's not, which seems dumb.
No, I'm actually okay with that, to be honest. I'm okay with them saying you can only score up to your unit strength. And then, like you said, you're going to have the issue as to like your unit strength 3. You score 3 points with 2 tokens.
My bet is they'll amend it to you get the value of the token. You can score 1 token for whatever value it's worth. So then on the score 1 scenarios, totally fine. Nobody cares. On the ones where it scores 2, you can score 1 token for 2 points. I think that's how they'll change it.
But then I could put all 3 on my regiment, like a regiment.
Yeah, and we're right back to where we were before.
Whereas right now it's like, I could put 2 on the regiment of succubi, but then I'm only going to get 3 points.
We're back to a similar spot where we were before, but this will eliminate the Wilt Father football. Because I used to do that with Sylvankin all the time. I'd line up my 2 tree herders, my tree herder and my Wilt Father, and just move them in a line. If one dies, the guy behind him just picks them up and keeps on pushing.
Yeah, and it worked.
One game, I think they had 5 tokens on them that I played. And you get to score them all, but not anymore. So I think it'll be a good change for that. And we'll let you use your hordes and your regiments, which you paid a lot of points for and invested a lot of like frontage for and are more at risk of dying to score more points.
Now, as a Ratkin player, I was completely fine with this because it's
I knew you would be because you're a dirty rat, so it makes sense. Checks out.
In all the things they've done to try and make infantry playable, this is something that will actually help make infantry playable.
Yep.
Like this will make you want to take something with unit strength 4, unit strength 5. It also makes the tower, the Orb of Towering Presence, extremely.
Oh, yeah, that's a good hack. Yep.
Yeah, because this was the first thing. Yeah.
Can you put that on a bully? You can put that on a bully.
Yeah.
And then the bully's unit strength 2, and then he can score 2 again. And then we're almost back to the good old days.
So the only thing that this kind of screws over really is ogres, because an ogre can't just sit a bully on top of the stockpile and go, I'll take a point. I'll take I can't carry any more of these. Now I got to put a unit on top of it.
No, you can do it on the side and then put the big units in the middle. It works out. Perfect.
Yeah. You can't carry more than 1 because bullies only your strength
up to but you give them the Orb of Tower and Presence, and then
now you can do it there.
Yeah,
which we've just given everybody that tech. If
I used to use that all the time, that would be great.
Now the question, John, is: do you give Orb of Towering Presence to one of your children or one of the generals?
Absolutely not.
No,
they are all gonna die. Like, absolutely not. They will all be dead. The number of, I think the children on Pegasus have survived. I think one of them has maybe graduated and left the army because he survived a mission. They regularly don't see the end of the battle. They're very brave, though. Very brave.
He put candy on.
They one survived. I think both survived in my last game with Ben.
Shut up.
Yeah. Riverguard had 2 turns at them and couldn't kill it.
That game never happened. Never happened. That's where you can put candy on the back of the horse. They jumped up there and they tied them down and just allowed them to go.
Yeah, it works great.
That's how we got there. All right, we really don't need to talk about the last one. It's just the giant and the giant scenario. Nobody's playing this. If you are playing this, great.
I actually think that would be a fun scenario to play for a fun game. Never ever in a tournament game, but that would be a fun game.
Oh, we can.
Yeah.
I have 3 giants, so we can play that.
Sounds good.
I have more Titan bases than I care to count at this
Exactly.
point.
So
All
So
right.
to anyone who's made it this far, come out to March of Death. It's March 1st and 2nd. We're limited to 30 people. We currently have 19 people signed up and registered. Ticket prices will go up next week. So we'll do a reminder to everyone that is going up to $90 as of next week. It's currently $80 if you pay now. And we are not currently planning on using command dice, but we will probably stick with that because who wants to use command dice?
We're going to play some games, but I think you've already made the call. You put it out on the pack. I think we should leave it the way
it's already on the pack. We're not going to.
That's why we're not playing command dice for March of Death, but we may consider command dice at future games in Ontario.
I think we might now with these changes. I think it actually warrants looking at this point in time.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Maybe we'll try it at my next one day.
Sounds like a great idea. You mean when Love Comes Lately?
Oh, that's Nathan's. So Nathan can do whatever he wants for that. Which actually, that will be a blind team tournament. So 1,000-point armies, blind team matchup. It will be silly.
A blast.
It's the blind date edition. Yep, it sounds like a great thing. So, well, I guess that's it for now. Thank you guys for coming on and doing this crap.
And this will not be edited, so please enjoy all our screw ups.
And all our future screw ups, because editing is a waste of time.
We never edit shit. We never edit a goddamn thing. Good night, everybody. We'll see you again. Bye.
Bye.